Okay, let's crack on from where we left off. I've got to drill out these holes to 16mm to get the bolt through for the bushes that I used. So I've got my big old Black & Decker out. Now, for those of you who are old enough, you might remember when Black & Decker made some really good hand tools, and this was the gold range, which was supposed to be like the professional range. It's supposed to last a bit longer than your ordinary ones, I suppose. But I've had this years, donkey's years, and it's still going strong. You can see the chuck's a little bit pissy-eyed, but it still works, and it's great for jobs like this. And it's probably just as well that drill's slipping, because it's pretty powerful. We used to use these to drill lorry chassis, and we'd put a big bar through the D handle and a rope around the chassis and use it as a big lever to push it in, because the lorry chassis are pretty tough stuff. We used to put sort of inch holes through to run pipes and various bits and pieces. Right, I'm going to go through the second hole from this side as well. You can see, I'll probably see I'm using another one of those 3 fluted drills. And this is exactly 16mm, so I'm hoping it'll give me a pretty accurate finish. Soon find out anyway. Must be almost there. Probably could have done with sharpening up actually, this drill. Haven't used it for years. I normally just stick it in the drill press, so it sort of fights its way through. There we go. Right, that's that done. Let's see, have a bit of a clean up. Don't want any of these little bits of swarf getting stuck anywhere or anywhere important. I'm just going to find a file and just take there isn't a massive burr, but I just want to, because the bushes are bronze and they're a tight fit, I don't want any burrs that might sort of tear the bronze off. See if the bolt fits. Look at that. Absolutely pucker. Right, so let's see if we can fit her up. It's not going in there. It's still, there must be a little bit of a burr or something on there, I think, because it's still not. Yeah, there is a little tiny burr. Let's have another little go with the rasp. Try and hold it nice and flat. It's hardly anything, but as I say, it doesn't take a lot, because this is a real good tight fit. I suppose what you call an interference fit, I guess. That's better. Much better. Right. Let's give it a tap. Lovely job. Look at that. That's a little bit on the tight side, but I'm sure that'll ease up. I'd rather it be tighter and it ease up than start off with it loose. So I've just got a big nylon nut on the back. I'm not going to do it up because I'm going to have to take this apart a few times, I think. So, right. Now what? We've got to try and figure out the spring or strut. I'm going to try and use this strut. I really do like the idea of using these because they look quite flash. And there's no reason why they shouldn't do the trick. I think, let's just move the camera up a little bit so you can see. do it from this way. Right, if I put it sort of there-ish, I've got this bracket for the bottom that can screw or bolt straight to the top of the plate. That about there. And then on the top I've got this round one, which again can screw directly onto there. I reckon that might work. So I'm going to put the top one on first because it's governed really by the width of that arm, and then put the bottom one on afterwards once I've sort of got this one in place, because it's it can't really go anywhere else. It's got to go where that little round fits nicely on that arm. So I've just marked it with my Sharpie again and then just spotted it through the holes. Now I'm going to put 5 4mm bolts in these, little tiddly 4mm. Now unfortunately I couldn't find the right size tapping drill, so I'm hoping this will do, and I'm just going to have to go very steady. The tapping drill's 3.2mm for 4mm, but this is, I can only find a 3mm drill, so I might give it a bit of a waggle around, and so I just have to go steady when I'm tapping, because this tiny little tap can break like a carrot. I still haven't ground those 5mm off from the tracking wheel. I'll get around to that. Right, so let's do more tapping. So I've got this tiny little 4mm. I could have used 5mm, but it just meant drilling out the holes in the plate, and seeing as I've got 4mm, and I managed to find some 4mm bolts, but unfortunately I only managed to find 3, so I'm going to have to use screws or bolts with a screw head for the other part. I suppose they're not really bolts, are they? I don't know. Anyway, you'll see what I mean in a minute when we get there. Now I'm going really gently with this because I'm just going to do like a quarter of a turn, backing off the chip because it's going tight at quarter of a turn. I think that's probably because it's 0.2 of a mil under. I know it doesn't sound a lot, 0.2, but when you're dealing with these little tiny sizes, I think that's quite a lot. As I say, I just couldn't, I looked everywhere for a drill the right size, so I'm just going to go steady, take my time. I've got this nice little tap wrench on it. You get a feel how far you can go. I might put a little bit more jollop on it in a minute. Surprising how long it takes when you're doing quarter of a turn at a time to get through 10mm. Are we there yet? No, still tight. Doesn't actually look like it's gone in 100% square, but let's just take it out and put a bit more cutting paste on it. That really does help, that stuff. I wouldn't dare do an undersized hole without it. It would just bind up too quickly, and then you would end up snapping it. Alright, there we go. Not too much further, I don't think. We must be almost there. Yep, there we go. We're through. Right, that's one. 2 more to go. Well, I won't bore you with the next 2. Well, see if I can fast forward a little bit. Right, that's the last one, I think. Clean off the swarf. Now then, where's my bolts gone? There's the plate. I've got 3 little tiddly bolts. I think they're just going to go past the head. That would be a bugger, wouldn't it? I'll get them all done and then they wouldn't go past the head, but I think they will. And I don't think they'll interfere with the operation of it. I think they'll go down far enough to be out of the way. Right, those 2 are a bit tight. That back one's going in easy enough. The last one I did, but those first 2 are a little bit tight. It could be the bolts though, because 90% of these bolts I find in my bolt box. I've got just boxes of old bolts that have either come off something or other, or come with something that I've used, you know, elsewhere, or used a different fixing method. And all these bolts I just chuck in a big box. Try and keep like for like in, you know, hex heads and set screws in different boxes. It doesn't always work. Right, screw this one in. Oh, that doesn't help, dropping your socket. There's 7mm heads on these 4mm bolts. And again, it takes forever. Should I use a ratchet, I think? Or a speed bar or something, but you never got one to hand when you want one. Right, that's just about it, I think. Yep. Sorted. Right. Okay, what now? Put it back in, I suppose, and then work out where the bottom bracket's got to go. Oh no, let's just whip these bolts off. That's that done. Super. Right, put it back in and we can mock it up and work out. Right, so I've got it clamped on as far forward as I can get it, and I hope that that's going to come down far enough. So I think what I'll do is put a belt on, just try it, just get an idea to make sure we've got enough adjustments in various places. So let's pull it down so it's sort of square, because what I want to do is get the tracking wheel to a line sort of square, which is about there-ish. Yeah, lovely job. It's got that square. That's out far enough. Seems to run alright. It's nice and tight. Decent bit of tension on it. Don't think it's too much. I don't know what it should be, but I think this gas ram is about 80 Newton meters or something like that. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. So, right, if at the end of the day it's not right, I can always replace it with the spring, but I'm going to do it with this gas ram for now because I like the look of it. It'll go on there, and I've still got, you know, some adjustment if I do have to use different size belts, but on the whole I'm going to be using these 72 by 2s. Right, that's where it's got to go roughly. I've sort of lined it up. So I need to get my Sharpie out, mark on that plate where they've got to go, and drill them. That's the theory anyway. Okay, so I've spotted them. I'm just going to see if I can drill them. Oh dear, I think I've got a bit of a dodgy drill there. Yeah, that drill's not very good. That's going around like a turd in a piss pot and that. Let's get another one. I've got plenty of these. These are 8. Like I said, I haven't got the 3.2, but I've got the 3mm. Got loads of them. Put a different one in. That's better. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that one's not very sharp, but I think it'll go. I hate it when you break out of a hole. I think this will be alright. It won't touch the next rail down, but the amount of times I've gone through things and smacked it on the bit below it and broken the drill straight in half. Go gently. Oh, there we go, like that. I was going to say, you have to go gently when you break through, but that obviously didn't then. Quite often if I'm doing it like this, I try and use my elbow as a sort of a guide. I stick my elbow on top of the job, but when it breaks through, my wrist and elbow sort of take up the slack, as it were, and it doesn't go down right through the hole. But I can't get my elbow on this job. Just give it a bit of a wiggle. So we've just taken that out. And yet more tapping. What a surprise. Good job you lot got patience. But like I said in probably the previous video, or maybe all of the video, I don't know, I've lost track of it. I do like bolting stuff in. Just gives you the versatility of changing stuff that much easier. Right, this one doesn't look like it's going in very straight either, but that's not bad. Quarter of a turn again. This one's probably going to take even longer, being 12mm thick. Take forever to get through this one. I'll save you the excruciating pain of watching the next one. We'll skip over the next one. If you haven't lost the will to live already watching this one, I almost have, and because I'm watching it for about the third or fourth time whilst editing. I don't know where everybody lives, but it's gone up into the late 20s today, the temperature, all of a sudden, so you don't get a chance to get used to it. So it's a bit on the warm side. Little old dog's laying on the concrete outside trying to keep herself cool. Right, that's that one. Let's quickly whiz through the next one. As if by magic, that one's done. Right, blow out the rubbish. See if we can fit her up. Right, as I said before, I couldn't find any more of those 4mm hex head bolts, so I've got little bolts with like Phillips posi drive or whatever you call it, crosshead, which I am going to replace. I don't like them. I hate crosshead unless you've got a particularly good screwdriver. I really don't like them. So I will replace them. I'll nip next door at some stage and see if they've got any 4mm bolts kicking about. It's handy having a nut and bolt placed next door. So if you haven't got anything in stock, they're quite handy for some of the obscure stuff, as well as the everyday stuff. Although they're getting out of it a bit now, I think. Not doing quite so much. Right, I can't get to that back screw, so let's see if I can get that clip off. Of course, I can't get the clip off because it's underneath. It's not going to come out, I don't think. What I'm going to have to do, leave that one where it is, put it back on, and take the top one off, and just move the whole thing out of the way. One thing that has amazed me throughout this series of videos is the amount of people watching it who have already built one or got one. Seems a bit odd to me. If you've got one or built one yourself, why watch some other idiot build one? It may seem, I don't know, it just seems odd to me, but I'm glad you are watching because I need all the views I can get. But yeah, there we go. Look at that. Lovely job. Smooth as silk. Right, so what's the next job? We got that done. Let's see if we can get this platen attached. It's a rough old bit of metal. I hadn't got anything the right size, so I cut a piece out of the same bit of angle iron that I cut the tracking arm out of. So it's a bit rough, but I think it'll do for now. I will probably get some eventually, but we'll see how this bit goes. If it wears alright and it's flat enough, then I'll leave it. So, get my Sharpie, just spot these through the holes. I've sort of lined it up as best I can. I shall spot and drill these. So I'm going to tap the platen rather than the brackets. So I'll put a clearance hole in the brackets, about a 6 point, what have I put in, 6 point something or other, 6.2 I think, not sure, anyway it's a clearance. So now I'll just go and drill those. I'm going to use 6mm for these, so got my little stubby 5mm drill. Which again, I reckon I could have sharpened this up a little bit. It's a little bit on the blunt side, but hey ho. I've been so absorbed with either work or trying, proper work, and trying to get this series of videos made. I've not really had a lot of time for anything else, for any tool maintenance. I'll have a good go once I've got this project done. Although I have got another project half started, which I haven't even done a video for yet. I might sort of backtrack a little bit on it, but I shall probably make a video of finishing it off. But that's dependent on the work, of course. It's gone very quiet here this afternoon. When I first started this video, which is why I'm doing the voiceover afterwards, because the that bloke opposite was in again with all his cackling women. So I've had to turn the volume right down. And guess what? More tapping. This time 6mm. It was really busy in the yard this morning. Everybody was in. There's cars everywhere. There's next to the fitness studio. There's people that do ironing for people. So they were in collecting all their ironing to go and deliver. And the nut and bolt people had got all their cars in with all their staff in today. The man next door to me, the other side, that does the markets, he was in. And the sculptor studio, they were in. Everyone was in. It's a bit like a blooming car park. But now everyone's gone. Oh, Maggie was in as well, opposite. She does upholstery. She's upstairs. Yeah. Busy, busy, busy. Right, again, I'm not going to bore you with all of them, I don't think. I'll get this straight. Sorry, the back of my hat. Just making sure it's straight. Yeah. Flick through that. Right. Let's see if it'll fit. We'll see if the brackets will fit. You might notice these brackets look quite shiny. I've been experimenting with various chemicals to clean up the metal, and I found a cracking one that cleans it up in no time. Oh, excuse me, something went down the wrong way then. Yeah, which I shall probably show you when I dismantle it all to clean it up for painting. I might do an actual video of the cleaning up process. I think some of you will find it quite interesting. I think I'm going to paint it myself rather than powder coat it, although it's probably going to be just as expensive to paint it by the time I bought a few rattle cans as it would be to take it down the powder coaters. But I don't know. I'll see how much time I've got, see how busy I am. If I'm busy, it'd be easier just to get it out of the shop, take it down the powder coaters and pick it up when he's done with it. But if I'm not that busy, I'll just hang it up around the shop and paint it. Right, that's them on. Now let's see if it all lines up. Those stainless steel Allen headed bolts, those are. They're the ones I'm going to use on the main frame when I put it all back together. I've got a box of stainless ones which I'm going to use. Look at that. Lovely. Super. So let's quickly tighten it up, and then I shall take the ends off those bolts. Just line it up. Lining it up with the wheels. I'm hoping I might have enough play in the slots on here that I can do like slack grinding without having to actually take the platen off. I can just slide it backwards, so I can do slack belt. But we'll see. Who knows? Let's go and take them off. We'll stick it up there. Just grind the ends of them off. Lovely job. Right, there we go. So, what's next? I really need to get this rest on, but it's going to be quite high up and I want it low down because I might have to put a sort of set in the arm somehow. Here it is mocked up as it is with the arm in the normal place. Now that square bar is out as far as it can go with it still being able to be clamped, and you can see I haven't got much room on here. There's still quite a lot underneath, so I want to try and drop that down to sort of, I suppose, yeah, just above where the platen starts, so that if you want to do sort of knives lengthways, when you want to do edges or rivets or do the handles, you can. So by the time I get these brackets on, you can see that's going to, come on, focus, that's going to take it up even further. It's got to go up, what, another, no, not that far, it's down a bit, and that, come on, think about it, that's it, about there. So it's going to go up about another 12 mil, so we're going to lose even more. So I don't know whether I'm going to, how I'm going to do this, whether I'm going to cut it straight, just put another piece in and then another piece out, or whether I'm going to mitre it, no, not that way, mitre it the other way, that way, and put a piece down. I really don't know, so I'm going to have to do some research. Sorry, the camera battery went flat then. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some research whether I do it this way or straight down or at an angle or what I do, but unfortunately I haven't got enough of it to do either at the moment, so I'm going to have to order some more. So we're not going to be able to get much more done today. And it's funny, I have been thinking about this for quite a long while, and funnily enough someone actually emailed me about it, wanting to suggest that I drop it down, but I had actually already thought about it. But until I got to this stage I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, and I'm still not. So I think I'm going to have to get on the net, do a bit of research, order some more of this. I'm going to go home now and order that, get another metre of that, and then I'll have enough to do the angle and have another one if I want to put a different set of wheels on it, or a different wheel setup. So that's how far we got so far. We're so close to the finishing line. I'm really pleased with what we've done so far. Hopefully I'll get the material shortly, so I'll be able to carry on very soon. Thanks for watching.